Hi there, are you preparing for the C954 OA exam and looking for a clear path to passing it? Then you are in the right place. We built a free question bank for the C954 OA exam. Preparing for an OA is no joke, so our guides and practice questions are completely free. In this video we will cover questions from computing infrastructure, data analytics, enterprise systems, development methods, business strategy. So, let's get started.
1. A mid-sized logistics company needs to upgrade its technology infrastructure and is evaluating the role of each hardware component. Which hardware component is primarily responsible for interpreting and executing software instructions while also coordinating how all other hardware devices function together? A. Primary storage device. B. Communication device. C. Central processing unit. D. Secondary storage device. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Central processing unit. Explanation: option C is correct because the central processing unit is the actual hardware that interprets and executes program software instructions and coordinates how all the other hardware devices work together as a system. Option A is incorrect because primary storage refers to main memory, such as RAM and ROM, which temporarily holds data for processing rather than interpreting and executing software instructions directly. Option B is incorrect because a communication device is equipment used to send and receive information from one location to another, such as a modem, not to execute instructions. Option D is incorrect because secondary storage is equipment designed to store large volumes of data for long-term retention, such as a USB drive, not to coordinate hardware. Alright, let's get into the brain of your computer, Chani, the CPU. When a logistics company upgrades its tech, every piece of hardware has a job, but only one component actually reads software instructions and tells all the other parts what to do. That's the central processing unit. Think of the CPU as the foreman on a construction site. The workers are your RAM, your hard drive, your monitor. But the foreman reads the blueprint and coordinates everybody. Without the foreman, nothing gets built. Primary storage, like RAM and ROM, just holds data temporarily while the CPU works on it. A communication device, like a modem, moves data between locations. It doesn't interpret instructions. And secondary storage, like a USB drive, is your long-term filing cabinet. Great for holding stuff, but it doesn't run anything. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When a question asks what interprets and executes instructions while coordinating hardware, the answer is always CPU. Quick recall hook. CPU equals Commander Processing Unit. It commands everything. 2. A retail store manager wants employees to capture customer information and input commands into the point-of-sale system efficiently each day. Which category of hardware is specifically designed for capturing information and commands from users into a computer system for processing? A. Input devices. B. Output devices. C. Communication devices. D. Secondary storage devices. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, A. Input devices. Explanation. Option A is correct because input devices are equipment specifically used to capture information and commands from users, with common examples being a keyboard, mouse, or scanner used daily. Option B is incorrect because output devices are equipment used to see, hear, or otherwise accept the results of information processing requests, such as monitors and printers, not capture input. Option C is incorrect because communication devices are equipment used to send and receive information between locations, such as modems, and are not designed for capturing user commands. Option D is incorrect because secondary storage devices are designed to store large volumes of data for long-term retention, such as external hard drives, not to capture information. Now let's talk about how information actually gets into a computer. A retail store manager needs employees to type in customer data and scan barcodes at the register. The hardware that captures that information is called an input device. Keyboards, mice, scanners, barcode readers, anything that feeds data into the system falls into this category. The keyword here is capture. Input devices capture information and commands from users. Output devices do the opposite. They show you results. Your monitor displays the receipt total. Your printer prints it out. Those are output devices. Communication devices like modems move data from one place to another, and secondary storage just saves things for later. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. If the question says capture information or commands from users, that's input every time. Quick recall hook. Input means in. Data goes in through these devices. 3. A global corporation like NASA requires a computing solution capable of processing massive volumes of transactional data and customer information at extremely high speeds that no other computer category can match. Which type of computer best meets these demanding high-performance processing requirements? A. Mainframe computer. B. Mini computer. C. Desktop computer. D. Supercomputer. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. Supercomputer. Explanation. Option D is correct because a supercomputer is the fastest, most powerful, and most expensive type of computer used by organizations like NASA for processing information at speeds unmatched by other categories. Option A is incorrect because a mainframe computer is designed to meet the computing needs of hundreds of people in a large business, but does not match a supercomputer in raw speed. Option B is incorrect because a mini computer is designed to meet the computing needs of several people in a small to medium business and functions as a type of server. Option C is incorrect because a desktop computer sits on a desk, contains a CPU, RAM, and storage devices and is intended for individual use, rather than massive high-speed processing. Here's a question about raw computing power. NASA needs to process enormous volumes of data at blazing speed. Regular computers can't touch that kind of workload. What they need is a supercomputer, the fastest, most powerful, and most expensive type of computer that exists. Think of it this way. A desktop handles one person's work. A mini-computer serves a small office. A mainframe handles hundreds of users in a big corporation. But a supercomputer sits at the very top. It crunches massive datasets for organizations like NASA, Atent, and General Motors, where processing speed is everything. Mainframes are big, but they're built for volume of users, not raw computational speed. Mini-computers are just small servers. Desktops are for individual use. None of them match what a supercomputer can do. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question mentions fastest, most powerful, most expensive, or names organizations like NASA, the answer is supercomputer. Quick recall hook. Super means supreme speed. 4. A company wants to implement technology that controls how various hardware tools work together and manages the operating environment, rather than handling a specific business task like payroll or customer tracking. Which type of software fulfills this role? A. Application software. B. System software. C. Customer relationship software. D. Business intelligence software. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. System software. Explanation. Option B is correct because system software controls how the various technology tools work together, along with application software, and includes operating system software like Linux and utility software like antivirus programs. Option A is incorrect because application software is used for specific information processing needs, such as customer relationship management and payroll, not for controlling how hardware tools operate together. Option C is incorrect because customer relationship software is a specific type of application software focused on managing customer interactions, not on controlling the overall technology environment and hardware coordination. Option D is incorrect because business intelligence software is a specific application used to analyze patterns, trends, and relationships for strategic decision-making, not to manage how hardware components interact. Let's clear up one of the most basic distinctions in software. There are two main types: system software and application software. System software is the behind-the-scenes manager. It controls how your hardware pieces work together and runs the overall computing environment. Your operating system, Windows, macOS, Linux, that's system software. Utility software like antivirus programs also falls into this category. Application software is different. It's built for specific tasks. Payroll software, CRM tools, spreadsheet programs, those are all applications. They ride on top of the system software. So when a question describes something that controls hardware coordination and manages the operating environment, that's system software. Customer relationship software and business intelligence software are just specific types of application software. They handle particular business tasks, not the overall system. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. If the question says controls how hardware works together or manages the operating environment, pick system software. Quick recall hook: system software runs the system. Application software runs a task. 5. An organization plans to archive years of financial records, project files, and compliance documents that must be retained long-term but are not accessed frequently during daily operations. Which hardware category is specifically designed for storing large volumes of data over extended periods? A. Secondary storage. B. Primary storage. C. Central processing unit. D. Output devices. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: A. Secondary storage. Explanation: Option A is correct because secondary storage is equipment designed to store large volumes of data for long-term storage, with examples including CDs, memory sticks, and external hard drives for archival purposes. Option B is incorrect because primary storage refers to main memory, such as RAM and ROM, which provides temporary and fast access storage for data currently being processed by the system. Option C is incorrect because the central processing unit is responsible for interpreting and executing software instructions and coordinating hardware, not for the long-term storage of organizational data. Option D is incorrect because output devices are equipment used to see, hear, or otherwise accept the results of information processing requests, such as monitors and printers, not to store data. This question is about where you store things for the long haul. A company needs to archive years of financial records, compliance documents, and old project files. They don't access this stuff every day, they just need it to sit safely somewhere for a long time. That's secondary storage. CDs, USB drives, external hard drives, tape backups. All secondary storage. Primary storage is your RAM and ROM. RAM is fast but temporary. It holds data while the CPU is actively working on it. The second you turn the computer off, RAM clears out. That's not where you park 10 years of financial records. The CPU processes instructions. It doesn't store files. And output devices like monitors just display results. They don't hold data at all. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question mentions long-term storage of large volumes of data, the answer is secondary storage. Quick recall hook: secondary means storage for the long second act, the archives. 6. A university needs to connect computers across multiple buildings within a single campus, so faculty and students can share files and printers in close proximity. Which type of network is specifically designed to connect a group of computers located near each other, such as within one office or building? A. Wide area network. B. Metropolitan area network. C. local area network. D, personal area network. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C, local area network. Explanation: option C is correct because a local area network is specifically designed to connect a group of computers in proximity to each other, such as within an office building or campus environment. Option A is incorrect because a wide area network connects computers across a large geographic area, such as a state, and links multiple smaller networks like local area networks together over great distances. Option B is incorrect because a metropolitan area network is a large computer network that spans an entire city, which exceeds the scope of connecting devices within a single campus or building. Option D is incorrect because a personal area network provides communication for devices owned by a single person over a very short distance, such as Bluetooth connections between personal gadgets. Let's sort out the three main network sizes. A university wants computers in nearby buildings to share files and printers across a single campus. That's a local area network, Ginny. A LAN. LANs connect devices that are close together. One office, one building, one campus. A wide area network, or WAN, is much bigger. It spans large geographic areas. Think an entire state or country. And it connects smaller networks like LANs together. A metropolitan area network, or MAN, covers a city. And a personal area network, or PAN, is just your personal gadgets talking to each other over Bluetooth within arm's reach. The scenario describes close proximity, a campus. That's LAN territory. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Match the geographic scope to the network type. Close together like an office or campus means LAN. City means MAN. State or country means WAN. Personal devices means PAN. Quick recall hook. LAN equals local. Think local as in nearby. 7. A small business owner is told that all office devices will connect to a single central cable, making the network inexpensive and easy to install. However, if that central cable fails, the entire network goes down. Which network topology matches this description of a shared communication channel? A. Star topology. B. Ring topology. C. Hybrid topology. D. Bus topology. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. Bus topology. Explanation: option D is correct, because in a bus topology all devices are connected to a central cable, making it relatively inexpensive and easy to install for small networks with a shared communication channel. Option A is incorrect because a star topology connects all devices to a central device or hub, and while easy to manage, it creates bottlenecks because all data must pass through that hub. Option B is incorrect because a ring topology connects all devices to one another in a closed loop shape, where each device connects directly to two other devices, making it expensive and difficult to install. Option C is incorrect because a hybrid topology combines characteristics of bus and star topologies, connecting groups of star-configured workstations to a linear bus backbone cable for greater flexibility. Time to learn network shapes, what we call topologies. A bus topology is the simplest setup. Picture one long cable running through the office, and every computer plugs into that same cable. Cheap, easy to set up for a small network. But here's the catch. If that single cable fails, every device on the network goes dark. A star topology connects every device to one central hub. Easy to manage, but the hub can bottleneck. A ring topology connects each device to exactly two others in a closed loop. Expensive and complex, but good for long-distance bandwidth. A hybrid mixes topologies together, like star groups connected by a bus backbone. The question describes one central cable, cheap, easy, but a single point of failure. That's bus. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Single central cable where everything connects in a line means bus topology. If it mentions a central hub, that's star. A closed loop is ring. A combination is hybrid. Quick recall hook. Bus topology is like a bus route. One road, every stop is on that same road. 8. A growing company is debating between two network models. One model relies on each computer sharing its own files and printers without a centralized server, while the other uses a centralized server for back-end processing. Which model describes the network where each computer shares resources without a central server? A. Peer-to-peer network. B. Client-server network. C. Metropolitan area network. D. Wide area network. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, A. Peer-to-peer network. Explanation. Option A is correct because a peer-to-peer network relies on the computing power and bandwidth of each participant, allowing every networked computer to share files and printers without needing a centralized server. Option B is incorrect because a client-server network is a model where the bulk of back-end processing is handled by a centralized server, and it has become one of the central ideas of modern networking. Option C is incorrect because a metropolitan area network refers to a large computer network spanning an entire city and describes the geographic scope of a network, not its architectural sharing model. Option D is incorrect because a wide area network connects computers across a large geographic area, such as a state, and links multiple smaller networks, describing geographic reach rather than resource sharing. Two main ways to architect a network: peer-to-peer and client-server. In a peer-to-peer network, there's no boss computer. Every machine is equal. Each one can share its own files and printers with the others while still being used as a regular workstation. No centralized server needed. A client-server network is different. It uses a dedicated server that handles the heavy lifting of back-end processing. Clients connect to it. That server manages files, security, and user access through a network operating system. The question describes computers sharing resources without any central server. That's peer-to-peer. A metropolitan area network and a wide area network describe geographic size, not architecture. They don't tell you how resources are shared. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. No central server plus computers sharing equally means peer-to-peer. If there's a dedicated server handling the back end, that's client-server. Quick recall hook. Peer-to-peer means peers, equals sharing with equals. 9. An IT manager is explaining to new staff that for two computers to communicate over a network, they must follow an agreed-upon standard that specifies data format and transmission rules, much like two people needing a common language. Which concept describes this agreed-upon communication standard? A. Network topology. B. Protocol. C. Network operating system. D. Wireless media. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Protocol. Explanation: option B is correct because a protocol is a standard that specifies the format of data as well as the rules to be followed during transmission, acting like a shared language between communicating computers. Option A is incorrect because network topology refers to the geometric arrangement and actual physical organization of computers in a network, not the rules governing how data is formatted and transmitted. Option C is incorrect because a network operating system is the operating system that runs a network, steering information between computers and managing security and users, not defining data format rules. Option D is incorrect because wireless media refers to the natural parts of the environment used as physical paths to carry electrical signals, describing a transmission medium rather than a communication standard. Think about two people trying to have a conversation. If one speaks English and the other speaks Mandarin, nothing gets communicated. Computers have the same problem. For two machines to talk over a network, they need a shared set of rules, a common language. That shared language is called a protocol. A protocol specifies the data format and the rules for transmitting it. The most famous example is TCP/IP, which is the backbone of the internet itself. Network topology is about physical layout, how computers are physically arranged. A network operating system manages security and steers data around the network. Wireless media is just the transmission path, like radio waves. None of those define the rules of the conversation. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question mentions rules, format, and transmission standards, or compares it to a common language, that's a protocol. Quick recall hook. Protocol means proper talk rules, how machines properly talk to each other. 10. A warehouse manager wants to replace traditional barcodes with a technology that uses electronic tags and labels to identify objects wirelessly over short distances, enabling faster inventory tracking throughout the facility. Which wireless business application best fits this specific need for short-range object identification? A. Global Positioning System. B. Geographic Information System. C. Radio Frequency Identification. D. Wireless Local Area Network. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Radio Frequency Identification. Explanation. Option C is correct because radio frequency identification uses electronic tags and labels to identify objects wirelessly over short distances, and it holds the promise of replacing existing identification technologies like barcodes. Option A is incorrect because a global positioning system is a satellite-based navigation system that provides extremely accurate position, time, and speed information rather than identifying objects with electronic tags. Option B is incorrect because a geographic information system stores, views, and analyzes geographic data to create multi-dimensional charts or maps, such as monitoring global warming, not identifying inventory items. Option D is incorrect because a wireless local area network uses radio signals to transmit and receive data over distances of a few hundred feet for general connectivity, not specifically for tagging and identifying objects. A warehouse manager is tired of scanning barcodes one at a time and wants something faster. The answer is RFID, Radio Frequency Identification. RFID uses electronic tags and labels to identify objects wirelessly over short distances. It's basically the next evolution of the barcode, and it's already widely used in inventory tracking, shipping, and retail. GPS is satellite-based navigation. It tells you where something is on the planet, not what it is. A geographic information system, GIS, stores and analyzes geographic data to build maps and charts. Think monitoring glaciers or mapping flood zones. A wireless LAN is just your Wi-Fi network, cheap. It provides general internet connectivity, not object identification. The question specifically says electronic tags, short range replacing barcodes. That's RFID every time. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Electronic tags plus short range identification plus replacing barcodes always points to RFID. Quick recall hook, RFID, radio finds ID. It finds the identity of objects using radio. 11. A marketing analyst receives a spreadsheet full of raw transaction numbers from last quarter with no context or interpretation applied. Before any meaningful decisions can be made, this raw content must first be converted into a useful context. What term best describes these unprocessed raw facts before they are given meaning? What do you think is the answer? A. Information. B. Business intelligence. C. Knowledge. D. Data. Correct answer, D. Data. Explanation. Option D is correct because data is defined as raw facts that describe the characteristics of an event, and it has no meaningful context until it's processed and converted into useful information. Option A is incorrect because information is data that has already been converted into a meaningful and useful context, which is the next step after raw data has been processed and interpreted by humans. Option B is incorrect because business intelligence is information collected from multiple sources, such as suppliers, customers, and competitors, that analyzes patterns, trends, and relationships for strategic decision-making. Option C is incorrect because knowledge includes the skills, experience, and expertise coupled with information and intelligence that creates a person's intellectual resources, going well beyond unprocessed raw facts. A marketing analyst opens a spreadsheet full of raw transaction numbers. No labels, no context, no interpretation. Just numbers. What is that? It's data. Data is raw facts that describe the characteristics of an event. It means nothing until someone processes it and turns it into something useful. Once you add context and meaning to that data, it becomes information. Information is what humans actually use to make decisions. Business intelligence goes further. It pulls information from multiple sources like suppliers, customers, and competitors to spot patterns and trends for strategic decisions. Knowledge is the highest level. It combines information with skills, experience, and expertise to create real intellectual resources. The hierarchy goes data, then information, then business intelligence, then knowledge. The question describes raw, unprocessed facts. That's the bottom of the ladder. Data. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Raw facts with no context means data. The moment context is added, it becomes information. Quick recall hook. Data is dumb. It's raw and meaningless until processed. 12. A retail chain wants to use past sales records and historical performance data to forecast which products will likely trend upward next holiday season, allowing them to stock inventory proactively. Which type of analytics uses historical data to extract information and predict future trends? A. Predictive analytics. B. Descriptive analytics. C. Prescriptive analytics. D. Operational analytics. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, A. Predictive analytics. Explanation. Option A is correct, because predictive analytics uses techniques that extract information from data and use it to predict future trends, enabling organizations to forecast outcomes like upcoming product demand proactively. Option B is incorrect because descriptive analytics uses techniques that describe past performance and history, summarizing what has already happened rather than forecasting what is likely to occur in the future. Option C is incorrect because prescriptive analytics uses techniques that create models indicating the best decision to make or course of action to take, going beyond prediction into recommendation of specific actions. Option D is incorrect because operational analytics is not one of the three primary analytics types described in the material, which specifically identifies descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive as the core categories of analytics. A retail chain has years of past sales data and wants to figure out what products will sell well next holiday season. They're trying to look forward, not backward. That's predictive analytics. There are three core types of analytics you need to know. Descriptive analytics looks at the past. It tells you what already happened. Think sales reports and historical summaries. Predictive analytics takes that historical data and extracts patterns to forecast future trends. It's forward-looking. Prescriptive analytics goes one step further. It doesn't just predict what will happen, it recommends what you should do about it. The question says forecast, predict future trends from historical data. That's textbook predictive. Operational analytics isn't one of the three recognized types in this material. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Past performance means descriptive. Future prediction means predictive. Best action to take means prescriptive. Quick recall hook. Descriptive describes the past. Predictive predicts the future. Prescriptive prescribes a solution, like a doctor's prescription. Big data has four defining characteristics: and the exam loves testing them. They're called the 4 V's: volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. The question describes a company collecting data from spreadsheets, databases, emails, and social media posts. All different formats and forms. That diversity of data types is variety. Volume is about sheer scale. The massive amounts of data generated daily by machines and networks. Velocity is about speed. How fast data streams in and needs to be analysed, like social media posts spreading globally in real time. Veracity is about trust. Whether the data is clean, accurate, and meaningful for the problem you're solving. 13. A data engineer notices that the company collects information in many different forms, including spreadsheets, databases, emails, and social media posts. This mix of structured and unstructured formats represents one of the 4 common characteristics of big data. Which characteristic describes this diversity of data forms? A. Volume. B. Variety. C. Velocity. D. Veracity. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer B. Variety. Explanation: option B is correct because variety refers to the different forms of structured and unstructured data that organizations collect, including data from spreadsheets, databases, emails, and many other diverse sources and formats. Option A is incorrect because volume refers to the enormous scale of data generated daily, including the massive amounts created by machines and networks that require specialized big data tools to analyze effectively. Option C is incorrect because velocity refers to the analysis of streaming data as it travels around the internet, including the speed at which social media messages and other content spread globally in real time. Option D is incorrect because veracity refers to the uncertainty and untrustworthiness of data, emphasizing that data must be meaningful to the problem being analyzed and kept clean to avoid dirty data accumulation. Big data has 4 defining characteristics, and the exam loves testing them. They're called the 4 V's: volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. The question describes a company collecting data from spreadsheets, databases, emails, and social media posts. All different formats and forms. That diversity of data types is variety. Volume is about sheer scale. The massive amounts of data generated daily by machines and networks. Velocity is about speed. How fast data streams in and needs to be analysed, like social media posts spreading globally in real time. Veracity is about trust. Whether the data is clean, accurate, and meaningful for the problem you're solving. Different forms and formats, that's variety. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Different forms and formats means variety. Massive scale means volume. Speed of streaming data means velocity. Trustworthiness and cleanliness means veracity. Quick recall hook. Variety means varied forms. Spreadsheets, emails, social posts, databases, all different. 14. A finance department needs access to a focused subset of the company's central data repository that contains only the strategic information relevant to financial analysis and reporting. Which component provides a narrower, department-specific collection of information drawn from the larger repository? A. Data visualization tool. B. Information cleansing process. C. Data mart. D. Operational database. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Data mart. Explanation. Option C is correct because a data mart contains a subset of data warehouse information and has more focused information subsets particular to the needs of a given business unit, such as finance or operations. Option A is incorrect because a data visualization tool describes technologies that allow users to see or visualize data by transforming information into a business perspective through graphical formats like charts and maps. Option B is incorrect because information cleansing is the process of cleaning dirty data and fixing errors within the data warehouse, not a component that provides department-specific subsets of strategic information to users. Option D is incorrect because an operational database supports day-to-day business transactions and processing, rather than providing a focused subset of strategic information for departmental analysis and decision-making. Picture a giant warehouse full of every piece of strategic data your company has ever collected. That's a data warehouse. Now imagine the finance department doesn't need all of it. They just want the financial stuff. So you carve out a smaller, focused section just for them. That carved out section is a data mart. A data mart contains a subset of data warehouse information tailored to the needs of a specific business unit like finance, marketing, or production. A data visualization tool is about displaying data graphically. Charts, maps, infographics. It doesn't store department-specific subsets. Information cleansing is about fixing dirty data, correcting errors, and removing garbage. That's a process, not a storage component. An operational database handles daily transactions, not strategic analysis. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question says focus subset for a specific department drawn from a larger repository, that's a data mart. A quick recall hook. Data mart is a mini mart, a smaller store carved from the big warehouse. 15. A company executive reviews long-term organizational goals using historical metrics measured over months and years to shape the firm's overall strategic direction. Which category of business intelligence is this executive primarily using to support high-level planning and long-range goal achievements? A. Operational business intelligence. B. Tactical business intelligence. C. Data mining. D. Strategic business intelligence. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. Strategic business intelligence. Explanation. Option D is correct because strategic business intelligence is used to achieve long-term organizational goals, with primary users being executives who measure performance over months and years using historical metrics for direction. Option A is incorrect because operational business intelligence is used to manage daily operations by integrating business intelligence with operational systems, primarily serving analysts with intraday measurements taken in real time. Option B is incorrect because tactical business intelligence is used to conduct short-term analysis to achieve strategic goals, with primary users being executives measuring performance over days to months using historical metrics. Option C is incorrect because data mining is the process of analyzing data to extract information not offered by the raw data alone, and it is a technique rather than a category of business intelligence level. Business intelligence comes in 3 flavors, each tied to a different decision-making level. Strategic BI is the big picture view. Executives use it to set long-term goals measured over months and years using historical metrics. Tactical BI sits in the middle. It's about short-term analysis, days to months, helping executives bridge the gap between strategy and daily operations. Operational BI is the ground floor work. Analysts use it to manage day-to-day work with real-time, intraday measurements integrated into operational systems. The question describes an executive reviewing long-term goals over months and years using historical data. That's strategic BI, no question. Data mining is a technique for extracting hidden patterns from data. It's not a BI category. These 3 levels actually feed into each other. Strategic results guide tactical decisions, which improve operational execution. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Long-term plus executives plus months to years equals strategic BI. Short-term analysis over days to months equals tactical. Real-time daily operations equals operational. Quick recall hook. Strategic is the satellite view, looking far ahead from high up. 16. A retail company wants to strengthen customer loyalty by gaining deeper insights into shopping and buying behaviours, managing every aspect of the customer relationship from initial contact through ongoing support. Which system is specifically designed to manage all aspects of customer relationships to increase loyalty and profitability? A. Customer relationship management. B. Enterprise resource planning. C. Supply chain management. D. Decision support system. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: A. Customer relationship management. Explanation: Option A is correct because customer relationship management is a means of managing all aspects of a customer's relationship with an organization to increase customer loyalty, retention, and the organization's overall profitability. Option B is incorrect because enterprise resource planning integrates all departments and functions throughout an organization into a single system for enterprise-wide decision-making, not specifically for managing individual customer relationships. Option C is incorrect because supply chain management focuses on the management of information flows between and among activities in a supply chain to maximize effectiveness and profitability, not on customer loyalty building. Option D is incorrect because a decision support system models information to support managers and business professionals during the decision-making process at the managerial level, rather than managing customer relationships directly. If you want to keep customers coming back, you need to manage the relationship from start to finish. That's exactly what CRM, Customer Relationship Management, does. CRM is a system for managing all aspects of a customer's relationship with an organization. The goal is to increase customer loyalty, retention, and ultimately the company's profitability. It gives you insights into shopping and buying behaviors so you can build trust with each customer over time. Enterprise resource planning integrates all departments into one system, but it's about internal operations across the whole organization, not specifically about individual customer relationships. Supply chain management handles the flow of materials and information between suppliers and partners. A decision support system helps managers make decisions by modeling information. It's a managerial tool, not a customer-facing relationship system. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question mentions managing customer relationships, increasing loyalty and retention, and understanding buying behavior, the answer is CRM. Quick recall hook: CRM equals customer relations matter, because that's literally its job. 17. A bank uses a system for its front office staff that supports traditional transactional processing for day-to-day operations dealing directly with walk-in customers and phone inquiries. Which type of customer relationship management supports these direct, daily customer-facing front office transactions and interactions? A. Analytical CRM. B. Operational CRM. C. Partner relationship management. D. Employee relationship management. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Operational CRM. Explanation: Option B is correct because operational CRM supports traditional transactional processing for day-to-day front office operations that deal directly with the customers through various interaction channels and touchpoints. Option A is incorrect because analytical CRM supports back-office operations and strategic analysis, including all systems that do not deal directly with the customers, but instead analyze customer data behind the scenes. Option C is incorrect because partner relationship management focuses on keeping vendors satisfied by managing alliance partner and reseller relationships that provide customers with the optimal sales channel, not front office transactions. Option D is incorrect because employee relationship management provides employees with a subset of CRM applications available through a web browser, assisting them in dealing with customers using detailed product and service information. CRM has two main sides, operational and analytical. Think of it like front office versus back office. Operational CRM is the front office. It handles day-to-day transactions where staff interact directly with customers. Phone calls, walk-ins, emails, service requests. It supports traditional transactional processing for those real-time, face-to-face or voice-to-voice interactions. Analytical CRM is the back office. It's behind the scenes, crunching numbers, running reports, doing strategic analysis on customer data. No direct customer contact happens here. The question describes front office staff handling daily customer interactions and transactions. That's operational CRM. Partner relationship management is about managing vendors and resellers. Employee relationship management gives employees CRM tools through a browser to assist with customer service. But it's a support tool, not the front office system itself. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Front office plus direct customer contact plus daily transactions equals operational CRM. Back office plus strategic analysis plus no direct customer contact equals analytical CRM. Quick recall hook. Operational means operations. The daily frontline operations with customers. 18. A manufacturing firm wants to evaluate and categorize its vendors for different projects to ensure it selects the best providers and keeps them satisfied over time, thereby optimizing the sourcing process. Which current trend in CRM specifically focuses on evaluating and categorizing suppliers to optimize their selection? A. Employee relationship management. B. Partner relationship management. C. Supplier relationship management. D. Analytical CRM. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Supplier relationship management. Explanation. Option C is correct because supplier relationship management focuses on keeping suppliers satisfied by evaluating and categorizing suppliers for different projects, which optimizes supplier selection and strengthens the sourcing process overall. Option A is incorrect because employee relationship management provides employees with a subset of CRM applications available through a web browser to assist them in dealing with customers using company product information. Option B is incorrect because partner relationship management focuses on keeping vendors satisfied by managing alliance partner and reseller relationships that provide customers with the optimal sales channel for purchasing products. Option D is incorrect because analytical CRM supports back-office operations and strategic analysis, including all systems that do not deal directly with customers, rather than focusing specifically on evaluating and categorizing external suppliers. CRM keeps expanding, and there are 3 current trends that extend it beyond just customers. Supplier relationship management, or SRM, focuses on keeping your suppliers happy. It evaluates and categorizes suppliers for different projects, so you always pick the best vendor for the job. Partner relationship management, PRM, is about managing your reseller and alliance partner relationships to give customers the best sales channel. Employee relationship management, ERM, gives your own employees CRM tools through a web browser so they can better serve customers with product and order information. The question describes evaluating and categorizing vendors to optimize sourcing. That's SRM. ERM is internal, it's about equipping employees. PRM is about managing sales channel partners. Analytical CRM is the back office analysis side. It doesn't focus on supplier satisfaction at all. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Evaluating suppliers and optimizing vendor selection means SRM. Managing resellers and partners means PRM. Giving employees CRM tools means ERM. Quick recall hook. SRM means supplier relations managed. Evaluate, categorize, optimize. 19. A large corporation wants one unified technology system that integrates all departments, including finance, human resources, and operations, so that employees across the entire enterprise can make decisions using shared organization-wide information. Which system integrates all departmental functions into a single unified platform? A. Decision support system. B. customer relationship management, C, supply chain management, D, enterprise resource planning? Do you know the answer? Correct answer, D, enterprise resource planning. Explanation. Option D is correct because enterprise resource planning integrates all departments and functions throughout an organization into a single IT system, so employees can make decisions by viewing enterprise-wide information about operations. Option A is incorrect because a decision support system models information to support managers and business professionals during the decision-making process, but does not integrate all departments into one unified enterprise platform. Option B is incorrect because customer relationship management focuses specifically on managing all aspects of customer relationships to increase loyalty and profitability rather than integrating every department into one system. Option C is incorrect because supply chain management focuses on the management of information flows between and among supply chain activities to maximize effectiveness rather than unifying all internal departmental functions together. Imagine every department in a corporation, finance, HR, operations, sales, all running on separate systems that don't talk to each other. Nobody has the full picture. Enterprise resource planning, or ERP, solves this by integrating every department into a single IT system. One platform, shared information, organization-wide visibility. That's the whole point of ERP. Employees across the enterprise can make decisions using the same pool of data. A decision support system models information for managers during decision-making, but it doesn't unify all departments into one platform. CRM focuses on customer relationships, not cross-departmental integration. Supply chain management handles the flow between suppliers and partners. It's outward-facing, not an internal unification tool. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question says integrates all departments into a single system for enterprise-wide decision-making, that's ERP. The keywords are all departments, single system, and enterprise-wide. Quick recall hook. ERP means every resource planned. Every department, one plan, one system. 20. A company has implemented its ERP system with two primary component layers. The first layer handles traditional internal operations like accounting and human resources, while the second layer covers additional needs, primarily focused on external operations. What are these two primary ERP component categories called? A. Core and extended components. B. Operational and strategic components. C. Front office and back office components. D. Primary and secondary components. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, A. Core and extended components. Explanation. Option A is correct because the current generation of ERP is composed of two primary components, where core ERP components focus on traditional internal operations, and extended ERP components meet additional needs focused on external operations. Option B is incorrect because operational and strategic are terms used to describe levels of decision-making and business intelligence categories within an organization, not the two primary component layers of an ERP system. Option C is incorrect because front office and back office are terms associated with CRM systems where operational CRM handles front office and analytical CRM handles back office, not the component categories of ERP systems. Option D is incorrect because primary and secondary are not the recognized terms used to describe the two component layers of enterprise resource planning systems as defined in the current generation of ERP architecture. ERP systems have evolved, and the current generation, sometimes called ERP Year 2, splits into two component layers. Core ERP components handle the traditional internal operations: accounting, HR, production, finance. The stuff that keeps the company running from the inside. Extended ERP components cover additional needs that go beyond internal walls. These focus on external operations, things like supply chain connections, customer-facing tools, and partner integrations. Operational and strategic are terms from business intelligence levels, not ERP architecture. Front office and back office describe CRM types. Operational CRM is front office, analytical CRM is back office. Primary and secondary aren't recognized ERP terms at all. The question describes two layers, one internal, one external, core and extended. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question describes ERP components split into internal operations and external operations, the answer is core and extended. Quick recall hook. Core is the core of the company. Internal. Extended extends outward. External. 21. A project team has finished designing a new inventory system and now needs to transform all the detailed design documents into the actual working system by writing code and building components. Which phase of the system's development lifecycle involves converting detailed design documents into the actual system? A. Testing phase. B. Implementation phase. C. Development phase. D. Analysis phase. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Development phase. Explanation: option C is correct because the development phase involves transforming all the detailed design documents from the design phase into the actual system by writing code and building the functional system components. Option A is incorrect because the testing phase involves bringing all the project pieces together into a special testing environment to test for errors, bugs, and interoperability before the system goes live. Option B is incorrect because the implementation phase involves placing the system into production so users can begin to perform actual business operations with the fully completed and tested system in a live environment. Option D is incorrect because the analysis phase involves analysing end-user business requirements and refining project goals into defined functions and operations of the intended system before any design begins. Let's walk through the system's development lifecycle, the SDLC. It has 7 phases and the exam will test you on what happens in each one. The question here is about a team that's done designing and now needs to actually build the thing. That's the development phase. Development is where all those detailed design documents get turned into the actual working system. Writing code, building components, creating the software. Testing comes after development. That's when you put all the pieces together in a test environment and check for errors, bugs, and whether everything works together. Implementation is when you push the finished system into production, so real users can start working with it. Analysis happens way earlier. That's where you gather business requirements and figure out what the system should do in the first place. The sequence matters: planning, analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, maintenance. The question describes turning design docs into actual code. Development phase. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question says transform design documents into the actual system, that's development. Building equals developing. Quick recall hook. Development means developers building. They write the code. 22. A software team uses a methodology that organizes work into small pieces of deliverable software produced during short, focused intervals lasting about 30 days, with each interval aimed at achieving a specific appointed goal. Which agile methodology uses these short, iterative intervals to deliver working software incrementally? A. Waterfall methodology. B. Extreme programming. C. Rapid application development. D. Scrum. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. Scrum. Explanation: option D is correct because Scrum uses small teams to produce small pieces of deliverable software using sprints, which are 30-day intervals designed to achieve an appointed goal through iterative, incremental delivery of functionality. Option A is incorrect because the waterfall methodology follows an activity-based process in which each phase of the system's development lifecycle is performed sequentially, from planning through implementation and maintenance in order. Option B is incorrect because extreme programming breaks a project into tiny phases where developers cannot continue to the next phase until the first phase is complete, focusing on sequential phase completion rather than sprints. Option C is incorrect because rapid application development emphasizes extensive user involvement in the rapid and evolutionary construction of working prototypes to accelerate the system's development process rather than using sprint intervals. There are several software development methodologies, and the exam wants you to know how each one works. Scrum is the agile methodology that uses sprints, short, focused intervals of about 30 days where a small team delivers a small piece of working software. Each sprint has a specific goal: deliver, evaluate, repeat. Waterfall is the opposite of agile. It's sequential. You finish one phase completely before moving to the next. Planning, then analysis, then design, then development, all in a straight line, no going back. Extreme programming, or XP, breaks a project into tiny phases where you can't move forward until the current one is done. It sounds similar to Scrum, but XP is about strict phase completion, not time-box sprints. Rapid application development, RAD, gets users heavily involved in building working prototypes quickly. The emphasis is on speed and user feedback, not sprint intervals. The question describes 30-day intervals, small teams and incremental delivery. That's Scrum. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Sprints plus 30-day intervals plus small teams equals Scrum. Sequential phases equals Waterfall. Tiny phases with strict gates equals XP. User-driven prototyping equals RAD. Quick recall hook, Scrum equals sprints. Think of a rugby scrum, short bursts of coordinated effort. 23. A project manager is conducting a post-mortem review after a failed software deployment and discovers the team skipped several critical phases and had unclear business requirements from the start, which is a primary reason that projects commonly fail according to established project management principles. A. Excessive user involvement. B. Unclear or missing business requirements. C. Too many testing cycles. D. Overly detailed design documents. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Unclear or missing business requirements. Explanation. Option B is correct because unclear or missing business requirements is identified as one of the primary reasons projects fail, along with skipped phases, changing technology, cost of finding errors, and imbalanced triple constraints. Option A is incorrect because extensive user involvement is actually encouraged in methodologies like rapid application development to accelerate the system's development process, and it is not listed as a cause of project failure. Option C is incorrect because thorough testing is an essential phase of the system's development lifecycle that helps identify errors and bugs before implementation. And too many testing cycles is not a recognized cause of failure. Option D is incorrect because detailed design documents are a necessary output of the design phase that guide the development team, and having overly detailed documentation is not identified as a primary reason projects commonly fail. Why do projects fail? The exam identifies several reasons, and they come up regularly. The big ones are unclear or missing business requirements, skipped phases in the SDLC, changing technology mid-project, the rising cost of finding errors later in the life cycle, an imbalance of the triple constraints: scope, time, and cost. The question describes a failed deployment where the team skipped phases and had vague requirements from day one. That's textbook project failure. Excessive user involvement is not a cause of failure. In fact, methodologies like RAD encourage heavy user involvement to speed things up. Too many testing cycles isn't listed either. Thorough testing is a good thing, and overly detailed design documents are part of the design phase, not a recognized failure cause. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. If the question asks why projects fail, look for unclear requirements, skipped phases, changing technology, error costs, or triple constraint problems. Those are the 5. Quick recall hook. Projects fail when you skip steps and have unclear requirements. Skip and unclear are your red flags. 24. A project manager needs to visually depict all project tasks, show the logical relationships and dependencies between those tasks, and identify the sequence in which work must be completed. Which project planning diagram is a graphical network model that maps tasks and their relationships? A. PERT chart. B. Gantt chart. C. Fishbone diagram. D. Scatter diagram. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, A. PERT chart. Explanation: option A is correct because a PERT chart is a graphical network model that depicts a project's tasks and the relationships between those tasks, showing dependencies and the sequence of work completion. Option B is incorrect because a Gantt chart is a simple bar chart that depicts project tasks against a calendar timeline, showing duration visually but not emphasizing the logical dependency relationships between individual project tasks. Option C is incorrect because a fishbone diagram is a tool used for root cause analysis to identify potential causes of a specific problem, not for depicting project tasks, their sequences, or dependency relationships. Option D is incorrect because a scatter diagram is used to show the relationship between two variables in a statistical analysis context, not for mapping project task sequences, dependencies, or milestone relationships. Project managers use 2 main diagrams to plan and track work: PERT charts and Gantt charts. A PERT chart is a graphical network model. It maps out every task in the project, shows how tasks relate to each other, and identifies dependencies, meaning which tasks must finish before others can start. It's a web of connected activities. A Gantt chart is simpler. It's a bar chart that plots tasks against a calendar. You can see how long each task takes and when it happens, but it doesn't emphasize the logical dependencies between tasks the way a PERT chart does. A fishbone diagram is for root cause analysis, figuring out why a problem happened. A scatter diagram shows the relationship between 2 variables in a statistical context. Neither of those is a project planning tool. The question asks about a graphical network model showing tasks, dependencies, and relationships. That's PERT. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Network model with tasks and dependencies means PERT chart. Bar chart against a calendar means Gantt chart. Quick recall hook. PERT shows the path, the network of dependencies. Gantt shows the calendar, bars on a timeline. 25. A technology firm based in the United States decides to hire a development company located in India to write code and develop systems at a lower cost, taking advantage of the expertise and economics available in that developing country. Which type of outsourcing describes contracting with organizations from developing countries for development services? A. Nearshore outsourcing. B. Onshore outsourcing. C. Insourcing. D. Offshore outsourcing. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, D. Offshore outsourcing. Explanation: option D is correct because offshore outsourcing involves using organizations from developing countries to write code and develop systems, providing access to lower costs, expertise, and economies of scale in those regions. Option A is incorrect because nearshore outsourcing is contracting an outsourcing arrangement with a company in a nearby country, not one located across the globe in a distant developing country, like India from the United States. Option B is incorrect because onshore outsourcing involves engaging another company within the same country for services, keeping the work domestic rather than sending it to an organization in a foreign developing country. Option C is incorrect, because insourcing is not one of the three recognized outsourcing types described in the material, which specifically identifies onshore, nearshore, and offshore as the three categories of outsourcing arrangements. There are three types of outsourcing, and they're defined by geography. Onshore outsourcing means hiring another company within your own country. Nearshore outsourcing means contracting with a company in a nearby country, like a US firm working with a Canadian or Mexican company. Offshore outsourcing means sending the work to a developing country far away, like the US contracting with a company in India. The appeal is lower costs, access to skilled labour pools, and economies of scale. The question describes a US firm hiring developers in India. That's offshore outsourcing. Nearshore would be a nearby country, not one halfway around the globe. Onshore keeps things domestic. And insourcing isn't one of the three recognised outsourcing types in this material. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Same country equals onshore. Nearby country equals nearshore. Distant developing country equals offshore. Quick recall hook. Offshore means off the shore. Far away across the ocean. 26. A department supervisor monitors daily transaction volumes, manages routine scheduling, and ensures that standard business procedures are followed every shift without deviation from established short-term plans. Which organisational level best describes the role of employees who develop, control, and maintain core business activities on a day-to-day basis? A. Operational level. B. Strategic level. C. Managerial level. D. Executive level. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, A. Operational level. Explanation. Option A is correct because at the operational level, employees develop, control and maintain core business activities on a day-to-day basis, dealing with short-term and structured decisions that keep the organisation running. Option B is incorrect because the strategic level is where managers develop overall business strategies, goals and objectives as part of the company's strategic plan, focusing on long-term and highly unstructured decisions. Option C is incorrect because the managerial level is where employees evaluate company operations to hone the firm's abilities to identify, adapt, and leverage change with semi-structured, short to medium range decisions. Option D is incorrect because executive level is not one of the three primary organisation decision levels described in the material, which specifically identifies operational, managerial, and strategic as the core levels. Organisations have three decision-making levels, and each one operates differently. The operational level is the ground floor. These employees handle day-to-day business activities, monitoring transactions, running schedules, making sure standard procedures happen every shift. Their decisions are short-term and structured, meaning the problems are routine and the solutions are well-defined. The managerial level sits above that. Managers here evaluate company operations and adapt to change. Their decisions are semi-structured and cover a short to medium range. The strategic level is the top. Executives develop long-term strategies and goals, dealing with highly unstructured problems in unpredictable environments. The question describes a supervisor handling daily transactions, routine scheduling, and standard procedures. That's operational. Executive level isn't one of the three recognised levels in this material. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Daily routine plus structured decisions equals operational. Evaluating operations and adapting equals managerial. Long-term strategy with unknowns equals strategic. Quick recall hook. Operational means operating the daily machine, keeping things running day to day. 27. A company analyst uses a basic business system every day to process payroll transactions, record sales orders, and handle routine accounting entries at the operational level of the organisation. Which type of support system serves as the basic business system at the operational level for processing routine daily transactions. A. Executive Information System. B. Decision Support System. C. Transaction Processing System. D. Expert System. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Transaction Processing System. Explanation. Option C is correct because a transaction processing system is the basic business system that serves the operational level in an organization, handling routine tasks such as payroll processing, sales orders, and daily accounting entries. Option A is incorrect because an executive information system is a specialized decision support system that supports senior level executives within the organization at the strategic level rather than handling daily operational transactions. Option B is incorrect because a decision support system models information to support managers and business professionals during the decision-making process at the managerial level, not for processing routine daily transactions. Option D is incorrect because an expert system is a type of artificial intelligence that imitates the reasoning processes of human experts in solving difficult problems, not a system designed for routine transactional processing. Each organization level has its own support system. At the operational level, the workhorse is the Transaction Processing System, TPS. A TPS handles the routine, everyday transactions that keep a business running, payroll processing, recording sales orders, daily accounting entries. It's the basic business system. At the managerial level, you get Decision Support Systems, DSS. These model information to help managers make better decisions. Think of a manager using a what-if scenario tool to evaluate different budget options. At the strategic level, executives use an Executive Information System, EIS. It's a specialized type of DS built specifically for senior leadership. An expert system is a type of artificial intelligence that mimics human expert reasoning. It's not a transactional system at all. The question describes daily payroll, sales orders, and accounting at the operational level. That's TPS. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Routine daily transactions at the operational level equals TPS. Decision modeling for managers equals DSS. Senior executive support equals EIS. Quick recall hook. TPS means transactions processed smoothly. The system that handles the daily grind. 28. A hospital implements a computerized advisory program that imitates the reasoning process of experienced physicians to help junior doctors diagnose rare diseases by working through symptoms and medical history logically. Which type of artificial intelligence imitates the reasoning processes of human experts to solve difficult problems? A. Neural network. B. Intelligent agent. C. Virtual reality. D. Expert system. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. Expert system. Explanation. Option D is correct because expert systems are computerized advisory programs that imitate the reasoning processes of experts in solving difficult problems, such as guiding medical diagnoses through logical symptom evaluation. Option A is incorrect because a neural network attempts to emulate the way the human brain works by processing information through interconnected nodes, not by imitating the step-by-step reasoning processes of human experts. Option B is incorrect because an intelligent agent is a special-purpose knowledge-based information system that accomplishes specific tasks on behalf of its users rather than imitating expert reasoning to solve complex problems. Option C is incorrect because virtual reality is a computer-simulated environment that can be a simulation of the real world, providing immersive experiences rather than advisory reasoning to help solve difficult specialized problems. There are 5 types of artificial intelligence in this course, and each one works differently. An expert system is a computerized advisory program that imitates how a human expert reasons through a problem. A doctor diagnosing a rare disease follows a logical process. Evaluate symptoms, consider history, narrow down options. An expert system does the same thing digitally. It walks through the reasoning steps an expert would take. A neural network tries to mimic the human brain itself, how neurons fire and connect. That's about pattern recognition, not step-by-step reasoning. An intelligent agent is a small specialized program that performs specific tasks on your behalf, like a virtual assistant filtering your emails. Virtual reality creates simulated environments for immersive experiences. And a genetic algorithm mimics evolution, survival of the fittest, to breed better solutions over time. The question describes imitating expert reasoning to diagnose problems. Expert system. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Imitates expert reasoning and advisory programs equals expert system. Brain-like pattern processing equals neural network. Quick recall hook. Expert system means an expert in a box. The computer reasons like a human specialist. 29. A cybersecurity firm deploys a system that mimics the evolutionary survival of the fittest process, continuously generating and refining potential solutions to complex network defense problems until the strongest, most effective solution emerges from the process. Which artificial intelligence type mimics the evolutionary survival of the fittest process to produce increasingly better solutions? A. Genetic algorithm. B. Expert system. C. Neural network. D. Virtual reality. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. Genetic algorithm. Explanation. Option A is correct because a genetic algorithm is a system that mimics the evolutionary survival of the fittest process to generate increasingly better solutions to a problem through iterative refinement of candidate solutions. Option B is incorrect because an expert system is a computerized advisory program that imitates the reasoning processes of experts in solving difficult problems rather than using evolutionary selection to generate improved solutions. Option C is incorrect because a neural network attempts to emulate the way the human brain works through interconnected processing nodes, not through an evolutionary process of selecting the fittest candidate solutions over time. Option D is incorrect because virtual reality is a computer-simulated environment that can simulate the real world for immersive experiences, having no connection to evolutionary problem-solving or solution optimization processes. A genetic algorithm takes its inspiration straight from biology. It mimics the evolutionary process. Survival of the fittest. You start with a bunch of possible solutions to a problem, test them, keep the best performers, discard the weak ones, and breed new solutions from the winners. Repeat that cycle over and over, and the solutions get stronger with each generation. A cybersecurity firm might use this to evolve increasingly effective network defense strategies without a human having to design every option manually. An expert system reasons through problems the way a human expert would. Logical, step-by-step advisory. That's not evolution-based. A neural network mimics brain processing through interconnected nodes, not evolutionary selection. Virtual reality is about immersive, simulated environments. It has nothing to do with problem-solving through natural selection. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Survival of the fittest plus increasingly better solutions equals genetic algorithm. If the question mentions evolution or natural selection, that's your answer. Quick recall hook. Genetic algorithm means genes evolving. Solutions breed and get stronger each generation. 30. A chief executive is developing the organization's 5-year strategic plan by monitoring economic conditions, evaluating the competitive landscape, and setting long-range goals in an environment with many unknown variables and ambiguous outcomes. Which decision characteristic best describes the highly ambiguous, long-term decisions faced at the strategic level? A. Structured decisions. B. unstructured decisions? C. Semi-structured decisions? D. Operational decisions? Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Unstructured decisions. Explanation. Option B is correct because strategic level decisions are described as highly unstructured and long-term, involving many unknown variables where managers develop overall business strategies and monitor the competitive and economic environment. Option A is incorrect because structured decisions are characteristic of the operational level, where employees deal with routine, well-defined, short-term tasks that follow established procedures and have predictable outcomes each day. Option C is incorrect because semi-structured decisions are characteristic of the managerial level, where employees evaluate company operations to identify and adapt to change over a short to medium time range. Option D is incorrect because operational decisions describe the type of day-to-day choices made at the operational level of the organization, not the long-term ambiguous decisions that executives face at the strategic level. Each decision-making level in an organization has its own decision style. At the operational level, decisions are structured. The problems are routine, the solutions are known, and employees follow established procedures. No ambiguity. At the managerial level, decisions become semi-structured. There's some predictability, but managers also have to adapt to changing conditions over a short to medium time frame. At the strategic level, things get messy. Executives face unstructured decisions, long-term planning with many unknown variables, ambiguous outcomes, and no established playbook. They're monitoring the economy, the competitive landscape, and making judgment calls about the future. The question describes 5-year planning, unknown variables, and ambiguous outcomes. That's unstructured at the strategic level. Structured is operational. Semi-structured is managerial. Operational decisions is a level, not a decision type. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Routine and predictable equals structured at operational. Some unknowns over short-medium term equals semi-structured at managerial. Many unknowns and long-term ambiguity equals unstructured at strategic. Quick recall hook. Unstructured decisions are like uncharted territory. Executives navigating with no map. 31. An online marketplace enables individual consumers to list and sell handmade crafts, vintage clothing, and used electronics directly to other individual buyers without any business acting as the seller in these peer-based online transactions. Which e-business model applies when consumers sell products or services to other consumers over the internet? A. Business to consumer. B. Business to business. C. Consumer to consumer. D. Consumer to business. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Consumer to consumer. Explanation. Option C is correct because the consumer to consumer model applies to sites primarily offering goods and services to assist consumers interacting with each other over the internet as both buyers and sellers. Option A is incorrect because business to consumer applies to any business that sells its products or services to consumers over the internet, with the business acting as the seller rather than another individual consumer. Option B is incorrect because business to business applies to businesses buying from and selling to each other over the internet, involving commercial entities on both sides rather than individual consumers conducting peer transactions. Option D is incorrect because consumer to business applies to any consumer who sells a product or service to a business over the internet, reversing the typical commercial relationship rather than involving two consumers together. There are 4 e-business models and they're defined by who's on each side of the transaction. Business to business, B2B, is companies buying from and selling to each other. Business to consumer, B2C, is a company selling directly to individual consumers online. consumer to business C2B, flips it. A consumer sells a product or service to a business. And consumer to consumer, C2C, is consumers selling directly to other consumers. Think of platforms where people list handmade goods, vintage clothing, or used electronics for other individuals to buy. No business acts as the seller, it's peer-to-peer commerce between regular people. The question describes individual consumers listing items for other individuals to buy. That's C2C. B2C would require a business as the seller. B2B involves businesses on both sides. C2B means a consumer selling to a business. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Consumer selling to consumer equals C2C. Look for words like individuals, peer-based, and direct consumer transactions. Quick recall hook C2C means consumer to consumer. People selling to people. 32. A marketing team at a growing company wants to identify the core set of MIS tools specifically designed for connecting and communicating in an e-business environment to improve collaboration with remote partners and clients. Which set includes recognized e-business tools used specifically for connecting and communicating across an organization? A. Email, instant messaging, and video conferencing. B. Data mining, data marts, and dashboards. C. Genetic algorithms, neural networks, and expert systems. D. PERT charts, Gantt charts, and SWOT analysis. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, A. Email, instant messaging, and video conferencing. Explanation? Option A is correct because the 6 e-business tools for connecting and communicating include email, instant messaging, podcasting, content management systems, video conferencing, and web conferencing as recognized by the material. Option B is incorrect because data mining, data marts, and dashboards are business intelligence and data warehousing tools used for analyzing information and supporting decision-making, not for e-business communication and connection. Option C is incorrect because genetic algorithms, neural networks, and expert systems are types of artificial intelligence designed to simulate human thinking and solve complex problems, not tools for e-business communication activities. Option D is incorrect because PERT charts, Gantt charts, and SWOT analysis are project management and strategic planning tools used for scheduling and evaluating organizational position, not for e-business communication and connection. The course identifies 6 specific MIS tools for connecting and communicating in an e-business environment. They are email, instant messaging, podcasting, content management systems, video conferencing, and web conferencing. These are the communication backbone of e-business. The question asks which set includes recognized e-business communication tools. Email, instant messaging, and video conferencing are 3 of those 6. Data mining, data marts, and dashboards are business intelligence tools. They analyze data, they don't connect people. Genetic algorithms, neural networks, and expert systems are types of artificial intelligence. PERT charts, Gantt charts, and SWOT analysis are project management and strategic planning tools. None of those last 3 groups are about connecting and communicating. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. The 6 e-business communication tools are email, IM, podcasting, CMS, video conferencing, and web conferencing. If the options include any of those, that's your answer. Quick recall. Hook, e-business communication means e-connecting people, email, IM, video, web, podcasts, and CMS. 33. A technology magazine describes a next-generation internet characterized by intelligent web applications that use natural language processing, machine-based learning, and reasoning to help computers understand the relationships among concepts and topics automatically. Which generation of the web is defined by intelligent applications using natural language processing and machine-based learning and reasoning? A. Web 1.0, BE, Business 2.0, C, e-commerce platform. D. Web 3.0. Do you know the answer? Correct answer D. Web 3.0. Explanation: option D is correct because Web 3.0 is based on intelligent web applications using natural language processing, machine-based learning and reasoning, and intelligent applications that enable computers to understand conceptual relationships. Option A is incorrect because Web 1.0 refers to the original generation of the internet focused primarily on static content delivery and one-way information publishing without intelligent applications or collaborative user interaction. Option B is incorrect because Business 2.0 or Web 2.0 is characterized by collaboration, sharing, and user-contributed content, and it represents the generation before the intelligent applications that define Web 3.0. Option C is incorrect because e-commerce platform is a general term for online selling environments and does not describe a specific generation of web evolution defined by natural language, processing, and machine reasoning capabilities. The web has evolved through distinct generations. Web 1.0 was the original internet, static pages, one-way information delivery. You could read content, but you couldn't interact with it or contribute. Web 2.0, also called business. 2.0, brought collaboration, sharing, and user-contributed content. Think blogs, wikis, social media. Users became participants, not just viewers. Web 3.0 takes it further. It's the intelligent web, built on natural language processing, machine-based learning and reasoning, and intelligent applications. The idea is that computers can understand the relationships among concepts and topics automatically, not just display words on a screen. The question describes intelligent applications using NLP and machine learning. That's Web 3.0. An e-commerce platform is a general term for online selling. It's not a web generation. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Static content equals Web 1.0. Collaboration and sharing equals Web 2.0. Intelligent applications with NLP and machine learning equals Web 3.0. Quick recall hook. Web 3.0 is the wise web. It thinks and reasons. 34. A software company encourages teams to use a collaborative web page where any employee can freely add, remove, and change content, creating an open collaboration environment that captures collective knowledge across the entire organization. Which Business 2.0 tool is a collaborative web page that allows users to add, remove, and change content openly? A. Blog. B. Wiki. C. Mashup. D. Podcast. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Wiki. Explanation: option B is correct because a wiki is a type of collaborative web page that allows users to add, remove, and change content, and is considered a tool for open collaboration within or across organizations. Option A is incorrect because a blog is an online journal that allows users to post their own comments, graphics, and videos, letting writers communicate and readers respond, but it does not support open content editing by all. Option C is incorrect because a mashup is a website that uses content from more than one source to create a new product or service, mixing data like maps, photos, and news feeds rather than enabling open collaborative editing. Option D is incorrect because a podcast is a form of content delivery used for audio or video distribution and is not a collaborative web page where multiple users can freely add, edit, or remove shared content together. Business 2.0 introduced 3 collaboration tools: blogs, wikis, and mashups. A wiki is a collaborative web page where any user can add, remove, or change content. It's open collaboration by design. Think of a shared document that the entire team can edit freely, no gatekeepers. A blog is an online journal. The writer posts content, and readers can respond with comments. But readers don't edit the original post itself. That's the key difference. A blog has an author and commenters. A wiki has equal collaborators. A mashup pulls content from multiple sources, maps, photos, videos, news feeds, and combines them into something new. A podcast is audio or video content delivered to subscribers. Neither mashups nor podcasts allow open content editing. The question describes a page where anyone can freely add, remove, and change content. That's a wiki. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Open editing by anyone equals wiki. Writer posts with reader comments equals blog. Content from multiple sources combined into something new equals mashup. Quick recall hook. Wiki means we all edit it. Open collaboration. 35. An online retailer is struggling with customers who hesitate to enter credit card information because they are uncertain whether the website will protect their personal data and deliver products as promised after purchase. Which challenge of e-business specifically addresses the difficulty of establishing confidence between online buyers and sellers? A. Identifying limited market segments. B. Adhering to taxation rules. C. Managing consumer trust. D. Ensuring consumer protection. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Managing consumer trust. Explanation. Option C is correct because managing consumer trust is one of the 4 challenges associated with e-business, directly addressing the difficulty of establishing confidence between buyers and sellers in online transactions. Option A is incorrect because identifying limited market segments is a separate e-business challenge that deals with finding and reaching the right customer groups online rather than building confidence between buyers and sellers. Option B is incorrect because adhering to taxation rules is a separate e-business challenge focused on navigating the complex regulatory requirements for collecting and reporting taxes across different jurisdictions in online commerce. Option D is incorrect because ensuring consumer protection is a separate e-business challenge that focuses on safeguarding buyers from fraud and unfair practices rather than specifically addressing the trust and confidence between parties. E-business has 4 main challenges. Managing consumer trust is about the difficulty of getting online buyers to feel confident that a website will protect their data and actually deliver the product. When someone hesitates to enter their credit card because they're not sure the site is legit, that's a trust problem. Identifying limited market segments is about finding and reaching the right customer groups online. Ensuring consumer protection is about safeguarding buyers from fraud and unfair practices. Adhering to taxation rules is about navigating the complex tax regulations across different jurisdictions for online sales. Each challenge is distinct. The question describes customers hesitating to share personal data because they doubt the site will protect them. That's trust. Managing consumer trust. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Hesitation, confidence, willingness to share personal information online. Those keywords point to managing consumer trust. Quick recall. Hook. Trust means will they trust you with their credit card? That's the question. 36. A company requires all employees to log off before leaving for lunch, never share passwords, and change passwords every 30 days as part of documented rules for maintaining the safety of organizational information assets. Which term describes the documented rules that identify requirements such as password changes and log-off procedures for maintaining information security? A. Information security policies. B. Information security plan. C. Acceptable use policy. D. Workplace monitoring policy. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, A. Information security policies. Explanation. Option A is correct because information security policies identify the rules required to maintain information security, such as requiring users to log off before leaving, never sharing passwords, and changing passwords regularly. Option B is incorrect because an information security plan details how an organization will implement the information security policies, serving as the execution roadmap rather than defining the individual security rules themselves. Option C is incorrect because an acceptable use policy specifically requires a user to agree to follow certain rules to be provided access to corporate email, information systems, and the internet, which is only one type of policy. Option D is incorrect because a workplace monitoring policy is a specific type of policy related to risk management obligations that tracks employee activities through measures like keystroke logging rather than defining broad security rules. There's an important distinction between information security policies and an information security plan. So, policies are the rules, the specific requirements employees must follow. Log off before leaving for lunch. Never share your password. Change your password every 30 days. Those are policies. The security plan is different. The plan details how the organization will implement those policies. The policies say what you must do, and the plan explains how the company will make sure it happens. An acceptable use policy is one specific type of policy. It's the document users sign before they get access to email, systems, and internet. A workplace monitoring policy tracks employee activity through keystrokes and similar measures. Those are both individual policies, not the overarching category. The question describes documented rules about password changes and log-off procedures. Those are information security policies. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Rules and requirements for security equals policies. How those rules get implemented equals the plan. Quick recall hook. Policies are the rules, plan is the playbook for enforcing them. 37. A corporation creates a policy that outlines corporate guidelines for employee social media activity to ensure the company's online reputation is protected, including monitoring procedures for public posts and comments made by staff members. Which of the 6E policies specifically governs corporate guidelines around employee social media use to protect online reputation? A. Information privacy policy. B. Ethical computer use policy. C. Email privacy policy. D. Social media policy. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. Social media policy. Explanation: option D is correct, because a social media policy outlines the corporate guidelines governing employee social media activity to ensure the company's online reputation is protected, including monitoring of public online interactions. Option A is incorrect because an information privacy policy contains general principles regarding information privacy and standards governing the collection of personal data rather than specifically addressing employee social media behavior and reputation. Option B is incorrect because an ethical computer use policy contains general principles to guide computer user behavior at work and how to deal with infractions not specifically governing social media activity and online reputation. Option C is incorrect because an email privacy policy details the extent to which email messages may be read by others and addresses opt-in and opt-out preferences rather than governing employee activity on social media platforms. There are 6 e-policies every organisation should have, and the exam tests each one. The social media policy outlines corporate guidelines for how employees use social media, with the goal of protecting the company's online reputation. It includes monitoring procedures for public posts and comments. An ethical computer use policy covers general principles for computer behaviour at work, how to use company equipment, and what happens if you break the rules. An information privacy policy sets standards for collecting and handling personal data. An email privacy policy governs how much email messages can be read by others and deals with opt-in and opt-out preferences. The question describes guidelines for employee social media activity and reputation protection. That's the social media policy. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Online reputation plus employee social media use equals social media policy. General computer behavior equals ethical computer use. Personal data standards equals privacy. Email reading rules equals email privacy. Quick recall hook. Social media policy protects the company's social image online. 38. An employee receives a professional-looking email that appears to come from the company's bank, requesting immediate verification of account details through a linked form that is actually designed to steal login credentials and personal identity information. Which security threat uses fraudulent emails that look legitimate to trick users into revealing personal information for identity theft? A. Farming. B. Phishing. C. Zombie attack. D. Authorization breach. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Phishing. Explanation. Option B is correct because phishing is a technique to gain personal information for the purpose of identity theft, using fraudulent emails that look legitimate to trick recipients into revealing sensitive credentials and data. Option A is incorrect because farming reroutes requests for legitimate websites to false websites, redirecting users at the network level rather than tricking them through fraudulent emails that impersonate trusted organizations. Option C is incorrect because a zombie is a program that secretly takes over another computer for the purpose of launching attacks on other systems, not a technique that uses fraudulent emails to steal personal identity information. Option D is incorrect because authorization is the process of providing a user with permission, including access levels and abilities, and a breach of authorization is a different security concern from email-based identity theft techniques. Security threats come in different forms, and the exam wants you to know the difference between phishing, farming, and zombies. Phishing uses fraudulent emails that look legitimate to trick you into revealing personal information. Passwords, credit card numbers, login credentials. The emails look like they come from your bank or a trusted company, but they're fake. Farming operates at the network level. It reroutes requests for legitimate websites to fake lookalike sites. You type in the right address, but you end up on a counterfeit page. No email involved. A zombie is a program that secretly takes over your computer and uses it to launch attacks on other systems. Your machine becomes a puppet. Authorization is a process. It determines what access levels a user gets after their identity is confirmed. That's not a threat. The question describes a fake email from a bank requesting credentials. That's phishing. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Fake email stealing personal information equals phishing. Redirected websites equals farming. Hijacked computers for attacks equals zombie. Quick recall hook. Phishing means phishing for your info with a fake email as bait. 39. After a new employee successfully proves their identity to the corporate network through a login process, the system then determines what files they can access, what hours they can connect, and how much storage space they receive. Which security process determines the access levels and abilities granted to a user after their identity has been confirmed? A. Authentication. B. Phishing prevention. C. Authorization. D. Information cleansing. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Authorization. Explanation. Option C is correct because authorization is the process of providing a user with permission, including access levels and abilities such as file access, hours of access, and amount of allocated storage space after identity confirmation. Option A is incorrect because authentication is the method for confirming a user's identity before the system grants any permissions. And it is the step that happens before authorization determines what the user can actually access. Option B is incorrect because phishing prevention refers to measures taken against fraudulent emails designed to steal personal information and is a security defense category, not a process for determining user access permissions. Option D is incorrect because information cleansing is the process of cleaning dirty data and fixing errors within data warehouses, having no relationship to the process of determining user permissions and access levels on a network. Authentication and authorization are a two-step security process, and they happen in order. Authentication is step 1. It confirms who you are. You prove your identity by entering a username and password, scanning a fingerprint, or using some other verification method. Authorization is step 2. Once the system knows who you are, it determines what you're allowed to do. What files can you access? What hours can you log in? How much storage do you get? Those are access levels and abilities. And that's authorization. Phishing prevention is a defense measure against fake emails. It has nothing to do with granting permissions. Information cleansing is about fixing dirty data in a data warehouse, completely unrelated to user access. The question describes determining file access, hours, and storage after identity is confirmed. That's authorization. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Proving identity equals authentication. Granting permissions after identity is confirmed equals authorization. The order matters. Authenticate first, then authorize. Quick recall hook. Authentication asks, who are you? Authorization asks, what can you do? 40. A firm requires every new employee to read and sign a document before gaining access to corporate email, internal information systems, and the internet, ensuring they agree to follow established rules governing their use of company technology resources. Which e-policy requires users to agree to follow its terms before being granted access to corporate email, systems, and the internet? A. Social media policy. B. Workplace monitoring policy. C. Ethical computer use policy. D. Acceptable use policy. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. Acceptable use policy. Explanation. Option D is correct because an acceptable use policy requires a user to agree to follow it to be provided access to corporate email, information systems, and the internet, and usually requires employees to sign before network access. Option A is incorrect because a social media policy outlines corporate guidelines governing employee social media activity to protect the company's online reputation, not the terms for granting initial access to corporate systems and email. Option B is incorrect because a workplace monitoring policy is a risk management obligation that tracks employee activities through measures like keystroke monitoring, rather than establishing the terms users must accept for system access. Option C is incorrect because an ethical computer use policy contains general principles to guide computer user behavior at work and addresses infractions, but it is not the specific policy users sign to gain initial access to systems. Among the 6 e-policies, the acceptable use policy is the one employees must agree to before they get access to anything. Before you touch corporate email, information systems, or the internet, you sign this document. It lays out the rules for how you're allowed to use company technology, and your signature means you agree to follow them. A social media policy covers how employees behave on social media to protect the company's reputation. A workplace monitoring policy covers how the company tracks employee activity, keystrokes, web usage, that kind of thing. An ethical computer use policy has general principles about proper computer behavior at work and how infractions are handled. Each policy has its own focus, but only the acceptable use policy functions as a gateway. Sign it or you don't get access. The question describes a document employees must sign before getting access to email, systems, and internet. Acceptable use policy. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Sign before access to email, systems, and internet equals acceptable use policy. It's the gatekeeper policy. Quick recall hook. AUP means accept the rules to use the systems. No signature, no access. 41. A smartphone manufacturer notices that dozens of nearly identical devices from rival brands flood the market each quarter, driving aggressive pricing wars and constant feature upgrades across the entire industry landscape. Which of Porter's 5 forces describes the intensity of competition among current companies already operating within the same market? A. Rivalry among existing competitors. B. Threat of new entrants. C. Buyer power. D. Supplier power. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Rivalry among existing competitors. Explanation. Option A is correct because rivalry among existing competitors is high when competition is fierce in a market, and low when competition is more complacent, directly describing the intensity of competition among current market players. Option B is incorrect because the threat of new entrants describes how easily new competitors can enter a market based on entry barriers, not the intensity of competition among companies that are already operating in the market. Option C is incorrect because buyer power is the ability of buyers to affect the price they must pay for an item, focusing on customer leverage in negotiations rather than the competitive intensity among existing rival companies. Option D is incorrect because supplier power is the supplier's ability to influence the prices they charge for supplies including materials, labour, and services, not a measure of competition intensity among existing market competitors. Porter's 5 forces is one of the most tested strategy frameworks on this exam, so let's lock it in. There are 5 forces that shape competition in any market. The one this question targets is rivalry among existing competitors. Rivalry describes how fiercely the companies already in a market compete against each other. When dozens of smartphone brands release nearly identical devices every quarter, slash prices, and constantly one-up each other on features, that's intense rivalry. Buyer power is different. That's about how much leverage customers have to push prices down. If buyers can easily switch to a competitor, they have high power. Supplier power is the flip side. It's about how much control suppliers have over the prices they charge for materials, labour, and services. Threat of new entrants measures how easy it is for brand new competitors to break into the market. High barriers to entry mean low threat. Low barriers mean high threat. The question describes existing brands competing aggressively with price wars and feature upgrades. That's rivalry among existing competitors. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Fierce competition between current market players equals rivalry. Customer leverage on price equals buyer power. Supplier leverage on cost equals supplier power. Ease of new companies entering equals threat of new entrants. Quick recall hook. Rivalry means rivals fighting. The companies already in the ring battling each other. 42. A boutique coffee roaster decides to serve only specialty single origin enthusiasts in one specific urban neighbourhood, rather than trying to compete with large chains across the entire national market for mainstream coffee products. Which of Porter's 3 generic strategies involves targeting a specific, narrow market segment rather than attempting to reach the broad market? A. Broad cost leadership. B. Broad differentiation. C. Focus strategy. D. Value chain analysis. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Focused strategy. Explanation. Option C is correct because a focused strategy involves targeting a niche market rather than attempting to reach large, broad markets, allowing the company to specialize its offerings for a specific, narrow customer segment. Option A is incorrect because broad cost leadership aims to reach large markets by offering products or services at the lowest cost, targeting a wide customer base rather than concentrating on a narrow specialized market segment. Option B is incorrect because broad differentiation aims to reach large markets by offering unique products or services that stand apart from competitors across a wide market rather than focusing on one specific narrow customer group. Option D is incorrect because value chain analysis is a separate strategic tool that views a firm as a series of business processes where each adds value to the product, and it is not one of Porter's 3 generic market entry strategies. Porter identified 3 generic strategies that companies use when entering a market. Broad cost leadership means targeting the widest possible market and competing by offering the lowest prices. Think massive retailers undercutting everyone on cost. Broad differentiation also targets a wide market, but competes by being unique, offering something no one else has, whether it's quality, design, or brand prestige. A focus strategy is the third path, and it's completely different from the other two. Instead of going broad, you go narrow. You pick a specific niche, a small, defined market segment, and you serve it better than anyone else. A boutique coffee roaster serving only single origin enthusiasts in one neighborhood is a textbook-focused strategy. They're not trying to compete with Starbucks nationwide. They're owning one small corner of the market. Value chain analysis is a separate strategic tool for examining internal processes. It's not a market entry strategy at all. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Niche market plus narrow segment equals focus strategy. Lowest price plus wide market equals broad cost leadership. Unique product plus wide market equals broad differentiation. Quick recall. Hook. Focused means focused on a niche, zoomed in on one small target. 43. A furniture manufacturer examines every step from raw material procurement through final delivery, looking for specific processes where it can either reduce costs or differentiate its products to create an edge over competitors in the marketplace. Which strategic tool views a firm as a series of business processes where each one adds value to the product or service? A. SWOT analysis. B. Value chain analysis. C. Porter's 5 forces. D. Business process re-engineering. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, D. Value chain analysis. Explanation: option B is correct because value chain analysis views a firm as a series of business processes, in each of which adds value to the product or service, aiming to identify where the firm can create competitive advantages. Option A is incorrect because a SWOT analysis evaluates an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to identify significant influences on strategies rather than examining individual, value-adding business process steps. Option C is incorrect because Porter's 5 forces model evaluates external competitive pressures in a market including buyer power and rivalry, not the internal series of business processes that add value within a single firm. Option D is incorrect because business process re-engineering transforms sets of inputs into outputs using people and tools to improve how work is done. But it is not the specific tool that maps each value-adding step in a firm's operations. Value chain analysis is how you find competitive advantages hiding inside your own company. It takes your entire business and breaks it down into a series of processes, from raw material procurement all the way through to final delivery. Each process either adds value to the product or it doesn't. The goal is to find the steps where you can either cut costs or differentiate your product so customers value it more. The value chain splits activities into 2 categories: primary value activities like manufacturing and delivery, and support value activities like HR and infrastructure. A SWOT analysis evaluates strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a big picture strategic assessment, not a step-by-step process examination. Porter's 5 forces looks at external market pressures like buyer power and rivalry. Business process reengineering is about redesigning how work gets done, but it's not the specific tool that maps each value-adding step. The question describes examining every step from procurement to delivery, looking for cost or differentiation advantages. That's value chain analysis. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Series of business processes that each add value equals value chain analysis. Internal strengths and external threats equals SWOT. External competitive pressures equals 5 forces. Quick recall hook. Value chain means a chain of steps where each link adds value. 44. Before launching a new product line, a company's leadership team meets to evaluate internal capabilities and limitations alongside external market conditions that could either benefit or threaten the success of the initiative. Which strategic framework evaluates an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to inform strategic planning decisions? A. Porter's 5 forces. B. Value chain analysis. C. Business process reengineering. D. SWOT analysis. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. SWOT analysis. Explanation: option D is correct because a SWOT analysis evaluates an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to identify significant influences that work for or against strategies and inform strategic planning decisions. Option A is incorrect because Porter's 5 forces model evaluates the competitive pressures within an industry, including buyer power, supplier power, and rivalry, rather than specifically assessing internal strengths and weaknesses of the organization. Option B is incorrect because value chain analysis views a firm as a series of business processes that each add value to the product or service, focusing on identifying cost or differentiation advantages rather than evaluating organizational threats. Option C is incorrect because business process reengineering focuses on transforming and improving the way specific business processes convert inputs into outputs, rather than evaluating the broad strategic position of the entire organization. SWOT analysis is the go-to framework for sizing up where a company stands before making a strategic move. It evaluates 4 things: strengths, what the organization does well internally; weaknesses, where it falls short internally; opportunities, external conditions that could benefit the company; threats, external conditions that could hurt it. Before launching a new product line, a leadership team would sit down and assess what they're good at, what they're lacking, what market conditions favour them, and what risks are out there. That's SWOT in action. Porter's 5 forces evaluates competitive pressures within an industry: buyer power, supplier power, rivalry, but it doesn't look at internal strengths or weaknesses. Value chain analysis breaks down internal processes to find where value gets added, but it doesn't assess external opportunities or threats. Business process reengineering is about improving how specific processes convert inputs into outputs. The question describes evaluating internal capabilities and external conditions. That's SWOT. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Internal strengths and weaknesses plus external opportunities and threats equals SWOT analysis. 4 quadrants, 2 inside, 2 outside. Quick recall hook. SWOT, strengths, weaknesses are inside the company. Opportunities, threats are outside. Inside-outside analysis. 45. A tech startup develops an innovative feature that attracts thousands of new customers. But within 6 months, several competitors have replicated the same capability, eliminating the startup's initial edge in the marketplace entirely. Why are competitive advantages considered temporary according to strategic management principles? A. Competitors quickly seek ways to duplicate them. B. Government regulations always eliminate them. C. Customers lose interest in all new features. D. Technology cannot create real advantages. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: A. Competitors quickly seek ways to duplicate them. Explanation. Option A is correct because competitive advantages are temporary, since competitors often quickly seek ways to duplicate them, eroding the initial edge a company gains from a unique product feature or service offering. Option B is incorrect because while government regulations can affect business strategy, the material specifically identifies competitor duplication as the reason competitive advantages are temporary rather than regulatory action, eliminating them. Option C is incorrect because customer interest varies and some innovations remain popular for extended periods, but the material identifies competitor imitation rather than customer disinterest as the primary reason advantages are temporary. Option D is incorrect because technology can absolutely create real competitive advantages through product differentiation or cost reduction, but the material notes that these advantages are temporary because competitors will eventually replicate them. Why don't competitive advantages last forever? Because competitors are watching. The moment you create something that gives you an edge, a unique feature, a lower price, better service, your rivals start figuring out how to copy it. That's the core principle. Competitive advantages are temporary because competitors quickly seek ways to duplicate them. A tech startup might attract thousands of customers with an innovative feature, but within 6 months, 3 other companies have built the same thing. The edge is gone. Government regulations don't automatically eliminate advantages. That's not the reason given in the material. Customer interest doesn't universally vanish from new features, and technology absolutely can create real competitive advantages. The point is, they just don't last because imitation follows. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. When the question asks why competitive advantages are temporary, the answer is always competitor duplication. Competitors copy, the advantage erodes. Quick recall hook, temporary advantages. Because competitors are copycats, they duplicate everything. 46. A senior executive in a large organization is tasked with overseeing all uses of information technology and ensuring that every technology initiative aligns directly with the company's broader business goals and strategic objectives across all departments. Which primary MIS role is responsible for overseeing all uses of information technology and ensuring strategic alignment with business goals? A. Chief Technology Officer, B. Chief Security Officer, C. Chief Information Officer, D. Chief Privacy Officer. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Chief Information Officer. Explanation. Option C is correct because the Chief Information Officer is responsible for overseeing all uses of information technology and ensuring the strategic alignment of MIS with the business goals and objectives across the organization. Option A is incorrect because the Chief Technology Officer is responsible for ensuring the throughput, speed, accuracy, availability and reliability of the organization's information technology, rather than overseeing overall strategic alignment. Option B is incorrect because the Chief Security Officer is responsible for ensuring the security of MIS systems and developing strategies and safeguards against attacks from hackers and viruses rather than strategic business alignment. Option D is incorrect because the Chief Privacy Officer is responsible for ensuring the ethical and legal use of information within an organization rather than overseeing all technology uses and their alignment with business goals. There are 6 primary MS roles, and each one has a specific responsibility. The Chief Information Officer, the CIO, sits at the top of the technology leadership chain. The CIO oversees all uses of information technology across the organization and makes sure every tech initiative aligns with the company's broader business goals and strategic objectives. The CTO, Chief Technology Officer, focuses on the technical side, throughput, speed, accuracy, availability, and reliability of the technology itself. The CSO, Chief Security Officer, handles security, protecting systems from hackers and viruses. The CPO, Chief Privacy Officer, handles the ethical and legal use of information. There's also the CDO for data management and the CKO for knowledge management. The question describes overseeing all IT uses and ensuring strategic alignment with business goals. That's the CIO. The CTO makes the tech run well. The CSO protects it. The CPO governs ethics and legality. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Overseeing all IT plus strategic alignment with business goals equals CIO. Speed, accuracy, and reliability of tech equals CTO. Security against attacks equals CSO. Ethical and legal use of info equals CPO. Quick recall hook. CIO means Chief of IT Strategy. The I stands for aligning information with business. 47. A business unit defines several crucial steps it must perform to achieve its annual goals, and then selects specific quantifiable measurements to evaluate its progress toward completing each of those crucial steps over the fiscal year. What is the relationship between critical success factors and key performance indicators in measuring organizational success? A. They are identical concepts used interchangeably. B. CSFs are quantifiable measurements of KPIs. C. KPIs are quantifiable metrics that evaluate progress towards CSFs. D. KPIs define goals while CSFs measure them. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. KPIs are quantifiable metrics that evaluate progress. Explanation. Option C is correct because critical success factors are the crucial steps companies perform to achieve their goals, and key performance indicators are the quantifiable metrics used to evaluate progress toward those critical success factors. Option A is incorrect because critical success factors and key performance indicators are distinct concepts where CSFs define the crucial steps needed for success, and KPIs provide the specific quantifiable measurements of progress towards them. Option B is incorrect because the relationship is reversed in this option, since KPIs are the quantifiable metrics that measure progress towards CSFs, not the other way around where CSFs would be measurements of KPIs. Option D is incorrect because KPIs do not define goals. Rather, CSFs represent the crucial steps to achieve goals, and KPIs serve as the far more specific, quantifiable metrics that track progress toward those critical success factors. CSFs and KPIs work together, but they're not the same thing, and the exam will try to trip you up on the relationship. Critical success factors are the big picture crucial steps a company must perform to achieve its goals. They answer the question, what must we do right to succeed? Key performance indicators are the specific, quantifiable metrics that measure how well you're progressing toward those CSFs. KPIs answer the question, how do we know we're getting there? Think of it this way. If your CSF is increased customer satisfaction, your KPIs might be customer retention rate, net promoter score, and average response time. The CSF sets the target. The KPIs are the measuring tape. They're not identical concepts. CSFs are broader, KPIs are specific. The relationship doesn't go the other way either. CSFs don't measure KPIs, and KPIs don't define goals. They measure progress toward the goals that CSFs represent. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. CSFs are the what, the crucial steps. KPIs are the how much, the quantifiable measurements of progress toward those steps. KPIs measure CSFs, not the other way around. Quick recall hook. CSF is the goalpost. KPI is the scoreboard tracking how close you are. 48. An organisation adopts a framework originally provided by the United Kingdom government that covers service delivery, service support, security management, and application management to guide the governance of its entire information technology infrastructure. Which governance framework was provided by the UK government and covers areas including service delivery, support, and security management? A. COSO, B. ITIL, C. CMI, D. COBIT. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. ITIL. Explanation: option B is correct because ITIL is the Information Technology Infrastructure Library, a framework provided by the Government of the United Kingdom, covering service delivery, service support, security management, and application management. Option A is incorrect because COSO is a framework developed for evaluating internal controls across functions such as human resources, logistics, information technology, and financial operations, rather than a UK government IT service framework. Option C is incorrect because CMMI is the Capability Maturity Model, integration, a process improvement approach containing 22 process areas, and it was not provided by the United Kingdom government for IT infrastructure governance. Option D is incorrect because COBIT stands for Control Objectives for Information and Related Technologies, a set of best practices helping organisations maximise information system benefits, and it is not the UK government framework. There are 5 governance and compliance frameworks you need to know, and each one has a distinct origin and purpose. ITIL, the Information Technology Infrastructure Library, was provided by the United Kingdom government. It covers service delivery, service support, security management, application management, and more. When you see UK government plus IT service management, the answer is ITIL. COBIT stands for Control Objectives for Information and Related Technologies. It's a set of best practices that helps organisations maximise the benefits of their information systems. COSO is a framework for evaluating internal controls. Think HR, logistics, IT, financial operations. It's about internal governance across business functions. CMI is the Capability Maturity Model, integration, a process improvement approach with 22 process areas. It measures how mature an organisation's processes are. The question describes a UK government framework covering service delivery, support, and security management. That's ITIL. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. UK government plus IT service framework equals ITIL. Best practices for maximising IS benefits equals COBIT. Internal controls evaluation equals COSO. Process maturity with 22 areas equals CMI. Quick recall hook. ITIL, think it from the aisle, the United Kingdom's IT library. 49. A multinational corporation expanding into several new countries must navigate differences in languages, religions, customs, social attitudes, and political philosophies that significantly affect how it conducts business and communicates with local markets abroad. Which category of global business challenges specifically involves differences in languages, religions, customs, social attitudes, and political philosophies? A. Cultural business challenges. B. Political business challenges. C. Geo-economic business challenges. D. Technological business challenges. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Cultural business challenges. Explanation. Option A is correct because cultural business challenges include differences in languages, cultural interests, religions, customs, social attitudes, and political philosophies that significantly affect how global business is conducted. Option B is incorrect because political business challenges involve numerous rules and regulations surrounding data transfers across national boundaries, tax implications and hardware and software, importing and exporting requirements between countries. Option C is incorrect because global geo-economic business challenges relate to physical distances between locations, which create logistical difficulties for managing operations rather than addressing cultural differences like language and religion. Option D is incorrect because technological business challenges is not one of the 3 categories of global challenges identified in the material, which specifically describes cultural, political, and geo-economic as the primary challenge areas. When a company goes global, 3 categories of challenges come into play: cultural, political, and geo-economic. Cultural business challenges are about the human differences between countries. Languages, religions, customs, social attitudes, and political philosophies. When a multinational corporation expands into new countries and struggles with how people communicate, what they believe, and how they interact socially, those are cultural barriers. Political business challenges are about rules and regulations, data transfer laws across borders, tax implications, import and export restrictions on hardware and software, and trade agreements. That's government-level friction. Geoeconomic business challenges are about physical distance. Managing operations when your offices are thousands of miles apart creates logistical headaches. The question lists languages, religions, customs, social attitudes, and political philosophies. Every one of those is a cultural factor. Technological business challenges isn't even one of the three categories in this material. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Languages, religions, customs, and social attitudes equals cultural. Rules, regulations, data transfers, and taxes equals political. Physical distance equals geoeconomic. Quick recall hook. Cultural means the culture of people, how they live, speak, believe, and interact. 50. A manufacturing company is evaluating the three main components of its supply chain, including the process of purchasing goods and services, managing physical material flow through shipping and warehousing, and coordinating logistics across all partners involved. Which three components make up the primary areas of supply chain management, according to the material? A. Planning, development and testing. B. Data discovery and deployment. C. Procurement, logistics and materials management. D. Operational, tactical and strategic. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Procurement, logistics and materials management. Explanation: option C is correct because the three components of supply chain management are procurement, which is purchasing goods and services, logistics, and materials management, which governs physical material flow through the chain. Option A is incorrect because planning, development, and testing are phases of the system's development lifecycle used for building information systems rather than components of supply chain management within an organization. Option B is incorrect because data, discovery, and deployment are the three elements of data mining used for extracting insights from data rather than the operational components that make up supply chain management processes. Option D is incorrect because operational, tactical, and strategic are the three categories of business intelligence used for different decision-making timeframes rather than the recognized components of supply chain management activities. Supply chain management has three core components, and the exam wants you to name them precisely. Procurement is the purchasing of goods and services to meet the needs of the supply chain. You're buying what you need to keep production running. Logistics is about coordinating movement, getting the right things to the right places at the right time. Materials management governs the physical flow of tangible materials through the supply chain: shipping, transport, distribution, and warehousing. Together, procurement, logistics, and materials management form the backbone of SCM. The wrong answers borrow terms from other areas to confuse you. Planning, development, and testing are phases of the SDLC. Building software systems, not managing a supply chain. Data, discovery, and deployment are the three elements of data mining. Operational, tactical, and strategic are the three categories of business intelligence. None of those describe supply chain components. Here's a WGU C954 OA exam tip for you. Buying goods equals procurement. Coordinating movement equals logistics. Physical material flow equals materials management. Those three make up SCM. Quick recall hook. SCM's three parts: purchase it, move it, manage the materials, PLM, procurement, logistics, materials management.
You have reached the end of our first question set. For the free complete exam preparation, visit our website, link in the description, where you find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. Thanks for studying with us today. See you in the next video.